Hey there, folks. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and I'd like to ask you if you could take a moment to head over to my channel sponsor, Dubby, at G.I.G. They have a wide assortment of different energy drink powders that you can put in your water if you'd like to avoid soda and high levels of sugar. You can use the code the G.I.G for 10% off of your entire order, and it would be helpful to the channel. Thank you very much. Hey there, folks. Andre the Game Idea Guy here, and Nintendo dropped their music app. See, I called for something like this 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago, back before the Switch was even the Switch publicly. It was still considered the NX at the time. And then Dark Void recently on one of my streams, or either one of the Winging It podcast streams, brought up the idea of the Nintendo Music app, and we are simpatico in that on wanting the app. Now, there have been a lot of things being said about it, and it hasn't even been out for 24 hours yet, as of the time of me recording this. Some generalized complaints that I've heard. One, that it is not in every region, and people feel like that is backwards. Not everything rolls out in every region at the same time. It's not much you can do about that one in particular, because there are certain things that certain particular countries have issues with, or it just takes time to get certain things to certain countries based on how they allow things to be given to the public. Can't really do much about that one. Another one I've seen in general, and this one I can kind of agree with, is that you don't get the credits for the composers of the songs for the games. But you know what you can do? You know what you can do for that? Instead of going on social media and complaining into the void to a bunch of people who can't affect it, go onto the app. There is a section to give feedback. If enough people give that feedback in that section, guess what might happen? You may see the composers' names under the songs. Oh gosh, it's a concept where you have direct access to who you are complaining about. And you can tell them why you're complaining. And people come to Twitter and YouTube to bitch and bemoan about things, but you have access. If you have access to reach out and say something, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online account, NSO account. That's another thing people were complaining about. Why do you have to have an NSO to be able to use this? Because like with a lot of stuff in Nintendo's ecosystem, they're tying it to their service. Something that people kept asking them to do. Something that people kept begging for them to do. And when they finally start to do it, then everybody's mad about it. So if you already have an active NSO subscription, it's not going to affect you much. You just get a bonus added to it. If you don't have one, but you've been thinking about it, it's another reason that you could go ahead and use it. And if you're just wholeheartedly against the idea, then hey, you're wholeheartedly against the idea. Nothing that can be said here. But there's nothing that can really be done for that for you. That's all I'm saying. But they have a right to have their own stuff in their own ecosystem. They're trying to bridge out and to build into an entertainment brand. I wouldn't be surprised if they did their own version of Netflix, which is something I also said that they should do over 8 years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up having their own version of that at some point once they start rolling out all their movies and stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean they won't have their stuff on competing services. That would just mean that they have their own version that you, if you've already got an account, you already have direct access to. That is something to be considerate of. The next thing I think I've heard a complaint about is, and this is also one I think it's reasonable to say something. But again, this goes right into that little handy feedback section that it should also be on the Switch itself. I don't think that that's like the worst take ever to ask for it to actually be on the console too. Because honestly, if you're already playing your games on your console and you just, for whatever reason felt like stopping, but you've already got it on, you might just go ahead and put the music on. Hell, I don't see an issue with having the music player be available on the console if you want to use it on the console. That's not the worst take ever. That's not the worst problem. It is something, though, that I think should be considered if Nintendo didn't. Honestly, when I was originally talking about the concept, that's what I thought they would be doing, is putting it on the console. But hey, no big deal there. No massive inquiry needed. It's just the way things are currently. Doesn't mean they won't eventually put it on the console. Probably was just easier to put it out on mobile to get it to more hands. But then again, they may just also not put it on the console. Who's to say? I don't know. I'm not at Nintendo. I'm not in Nintendo's board meetings. Now the next thing, and this is a complaint I understand, but it's also one that's not going to last for an excruciating amount of time. And that is that there isn't enough music on the app. It just launched. It's not going to have everything. And honestly, I think that that's because there are contracts being worked out behind the scenes to get everybody their money. Because look at it this way. Now that it's part of a paid service, that means that every time you stream a song, somebody's getting paid for you streaming that song. It's different from it being uploaded by a random user on YouTube for you to listen to it. Now, every time somebody listens to it in the app, whoever is listening to it in the app is making sure that the people that produce the song are getting paid. So part of me thinks that that's probably part of the reason you don't have everything available right away. One, because contract negotiations have to happen to allow the songs to be posted, because Nintendo's not just going to put the stuff up and not pay their people. I swear that's the biggest thing that nobody pays attention to. When they're doing stuff like this, they're finding ways that they can pay their staff to do it. They're not just doing it haphazardly. So along with the thing with credits, if you want the artists to be credited, they also need to be paid. And if you want them to be paid when you listen to their stuff, go ahead and use the app if you already have an SO anyway. Or if you were going to get it anyway, what harm is it doing you to have it? None. And I know whoever composed the Wii News Channel daytime feed music, they're going to be getting a lot of money off of me, because I'm going to be playing that theme on a regular basis. Now, they're going to be getting paid off of me. And I'm pretty sure that was one of the things Nintendo was trying to figure out. How do they pay the people who compose the music? What standards are there already out in the industry that are already being used? And they had to try to figure that out against what they're going to do. Hopefully they're paying better than the likes of Spotify and Amazon Music and such. Hopefully they're paying better. But we have no way to know, because we're not in those contract meetings. But I can almost guarantee you that's one of the reasons that you don't see all that stuff. And that's probably also one of the reasons you're not going to see third-party stuff on this immediately. I have a feeling third-party music is coming, especially like the third-party type stuff that has been exclusive over the years. That's more than likely coming, but contract negotiations have to be set up. And people have to figure out who's going to get paid for what. So, it's one of those things where I look at it, I'm looking at positive mindset first before I look at negative. And again, anything you have to say about the app or what's missing, what items you would love to see in the catalog, whether you'd like to see artists who compose the tracks being credited, you have a feedback section in the app. If you are going to use it and you're going to make all these complaints, At least make the complaints to the company. And you know what? Another thing that you could do, even if you are not using the app and you really want to express these things, send Nintendo an email. It's not like you can't go onto their website, get their damn customer service email and send it. Send it. If enough people send, hey, general reasonable complaints, that information will get passed along. It will definitely get passed along. I know I've seen it happen several times myself when I've sent stuff off to different companies. So just go ahead and send them what you think. You have a route to access at least someone at the company that can get that information passed along. So do it. But if you have the app, that is your direct feed. With your direct feed, go ahead and say, hey, look, I'd love the option to be able to change the cover of the song or change the image. So could you guys either upload more images that we can swap to for our choice of what we would like to see when we play the song? And also, please credit the artist. Please credit the artist, because we would like to know who is composing these tracks and who we should give credit to. That's it. That's the type of stuff that you want to put in there. We would love to know who's done this. I would love this soundtrack. I would especially love the Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack, because since you're doing the deluxe edition, I would love to see this go ahead and be on there. It should be on there. Honestly, you should have put it on there. Be one of the things to promote it. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing from jump to put that out there. Especially the Primoria theme is a life sentence if you hear it. It is a life sentence if you hear it, because you will get stuck on that track and not want to let go of it. So things are going to change up. You're not going to see everything stay exactly the same. Now, what this means going into the future, especially with the next console coming up, I have no idea. I'm not even going to pretend to. But some of these complaints are easy to mitigate if you use one common sense. Which, now I think about it, a lot of people don't have. So it's really not common sense. It's more like logical sense. So, if you don't have that, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But that doesn't mean that you should just say, hey, oh, well, I can't use the app because I don't have an SO, and I want to be able to use the app without it. Send off some emails to Nintendo, try to get customer service. I don't know if they're going to do that one particularly, because I think that they're trying to have a commercial-free experience. But if enough people want it, they may just make it work with a free version that gives you commercials every 3 songs. And takes away the ability to backtrack through tracks. Because honestly, the music app that Nintendo has a bunch of decent features. One, being able to put a song on extension for I think it's like 15 is the minimum you can extend it to, up to an hour. Having the app be able to do that is freaking amazing. Meaning you don't have to scour YouTube for a good quality version of the same song to get an extension of it. You just have to touch down at the bottom of the screen and swap to that different version. It'll restart the song, obviously, but you'll get it extended for that time frame. To me, that's cool. That's a nice feature. The way their playlists are set up currently is a good sign for the future. Because you can have playlists based on character. You can have them based on game series. Now, if they start putting in the names of the composers and stuff, you could probably end up having a playlist based on composer. But if you really want this stuff in there, you gotta give them feedback through the app. Give them the feedback through the app. If you're using it, give them the feedback through the app. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm repeating myself with a purpose. If you want them to hear what you have to say, and you are using this app, especially if you are using this app and you have NSO already, let them know what you think using the feedback portion of the app. There is no reason that you can make all these complaints on social media and not go ahead and utilize the very feedback section that they placed in the app to get your feedback. But you give your feedback to all of the masses out there who will just bandwagon on an idea but not do anything about it. There we go. But as for me personally, when it comes down to the Nintendo Music app, I'm happy with it at the moment. I wasn't expecting it to be this grandiose thing all out the gate. I wasn't expecting it to have a full library out the gate. Now, if we were going to be mad about something, I am personally upset that the Super Metroid soundtrack isn't in there. I am personally upset that that's not there. Because that was one of the first things I looked for. But guess what I'm going to do? Guess what? One of the things I'm going to do is I am going to go through and figure out what soundtracks are my favorite soundtracks from Nintendo. And I am going to go into that feedback section, list them, and say, hey, look, these are soundtracks that I think should be on NSO. Could you please add them as soon as possible? And hey, I would like the ability to swap pictures from a game depending on what song it is, if it's related to the scene of the song. I would like that option. Simple as that. Also, please put a variation of this app on a Nintendo Switch. Not hard to ask. Not hard to do. If you have the chance to do it, do it. But if you just go and spend your time complaining on social media, then you really don't care. Simple as that. So, now that I have spoken for at least 15 minutes about this, not that that was on purpose. I'm just realizing by I look at my recording time, I've been over 15 minutes. But now that I've done that, thank you to all that listened. If you're on YouTube or another video platform that this is on, please subscribe. I really want to build up my channels, and it would be helpful. Even if you're listening on Spotify, please follow. I'm trying to build these up because the more people that do that follow and subscribe, I can start doing this more. I can start focusing on more and different video types. I have a ton of ideas, but I can't make the time for them because I have to work a lot. And if I have to work a lot, I can't record a lot. So, if you subscribe or follow, please, that would be very helpful. And thank you very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy, and I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in. If you would be interested in supporting my efforts in content creation, please head on over to Amazon and look up The Game Idea Guy Presents Gaming Word Search, and you will find both Volume 1 and Volume 2 up for sale. Thank you very much once again, and I hope to be able to create more content for you in the future. Peace out.